Welcome everyone to the RealAtom Broker podcast series, where you will learn about the brokers on the RealAtom platform and the organizations they represent. My name is Luis Delgado, account executive at RealAtom. RealAtom is the industry's #1 lending as a service technology platform, empowering mortgage brokers, commercial real estate lenders, such as banks, credit unions, and non-banking organizations to generate more CRE loans. Today, I have the pleasure to introducing Robert Withers, president at M1 Capital. Welcome, and thank you for taking the time to present to us today. I'm going to pass things over to you. Could you tell us a little bit more about, who you are, what your firm does, what kind of deals you guys work, and yeah.
Thanks, Luis. I appreciate it, and thank you again for asking me to join you today. As you mentioned, our company's name is M1 Capital Corp. We are commercial real estate finance brokers. We're located in New York. White Plains, New York is where our headquarters is. We also have an office in New York City, a satellite office on 3rd Avenue. We place commercial real estate financing requests pretty much across all the major commercial real estate asset classes. Multifamily, light industrial, mixed use properties of all different sizes, single purpose, single use properties, some storage, self-storage solution. We have some self-storage financing solutions also to offer. We started our company in 2014. We were formed in 2012, pretty much hit the road running in 2014, and we have enjoyed a great run. It's good times in our industry. We saw some challenges during COVID, but it was really more of extending ourselves to help our clients in the things that they needed, where maybe they weren't doing as much acquisitions. They needed refinancing. They maybe needed bridge loan financing to take advantage of new opportunities. We restructured some loans on their behalf with their current lenders, some of which we had helped them place loans with, and some of them we had no relationship with. We are a boutique. We pride ourselves in the fact that we're nimble. We're not the 800-pound gorilla on the street or in the neighborhood. But we have arranged financing for some of the more known and well-respected real estate developers and owners in our area. So,
got it. Okay, Robert, could you tell us about? Do you have any examples of some deals that you guys closed where you can kind of go over them?
I do. First of all, just real quickly, as I mentioned, we're a full-service commercial real estate finance company. We pride ourselves in being an alternative solution to conventional bank financing, and we focus just on commercial real estate financing. Our team has been in the industry over 30 years, and like I mentioned, the asset classes that we use, pretty much our niche is the $500,000 to $25 million loan sizes. Our mission statement is providing creative, competitive, and cutting-edge commercial real estate financing solutions using proven lender relationships and state-of-the-art technology like RealAtom while delivering a superior client experience from start to finish. Let me give you some ideas. These are the different 4 basic main different types of services that we offer. And I'm just going to very quickly go through the rest of my presentation, which you don't need to see, but can bring you to some of our success stories.
Okay.
1 second, and I will get there. Okay, so success stories. All right, so success story number 1 I'd like to share with you, Luis, is Mount Vernon, New York, here a suburb in Westchester County. We had a owner of a building who, after a couple of attempts using retail money center banks. We know who those are. Contacted M1 Capital Corp, and we selected the right lender. He had his business in the building. Part of it was vacant, part of it was rented out, and the lender that we chose saw the benefit in an owner-occupied building and saw the benefit in the industry that he was in. And where others said no, they said yes. And they wasted, we didn't waste any more time. We got right down to business, and we closed over a couple of $1 million loan on great terms, and the client was extremely happy. So that's one example. Spec construction, very, very popular, especially in certain markets, and in this one it was Florida. We do a lot of business in this market, both out in this space, both out in the Hamptons for spec home building, and also in certain areas of Florida. We had been introduced to a South American builder who had purchased several building lots for cash and wanted to construct a condominium project. Just as condominium projects started becoming out of vogue, this guy got the great idea of building 8 condos and selling them in a section of Fort Lauderdale. And, given the fact that he was from South America, he didn't have the established relationships in the area, in the Florida area. A lot of the money center and regional banks said no to him. For whatever reason, they said no to him. And we found an alternative lender under pretty decent terms who got on a flight, flew down there. I met them down there, went to the site, went over the project, and in an afternoon, over a quick inspection of the property, some due diligence of their financials, and a couple of espressos, we were able to put the deal,
a couple.
Venezuelan espresso, believe me. It's something you must try if you've never had it. We put the deal together. I flew back, and we funded it like 45 days later. And I think the last unit was sold at the end of 2020. So it was a very successful sellout of the project, and everybody was quite happy. Our third story is very interesting. It was another introduction from an attorney who knew a New England-based manufacturing company that had been owned and in the family for over 100 years. And they owned the building, and they had run into some problems. The industry that they served, they were basically a very niche company. They served an industry, and this industry had basically fallen on hard times, so their business fell on hard times, and they ran afoul of certain loan covenants in their current mortgage, and they went into default. After a couple of deferments, they went into default. We were able to put together a team, including a CPA and some other experts, and we were able to work with their current lender, negotiate a short payoff of the mortgage, provide bridge loan financing for them so that they were able to get out of that relationship that had gone bad. We were able to work with them through, which was part of the loan request, actually. They had to work with a CPA to be able to right-side their business plan, broaden their product line, and did a complete turnaround, and within 3 years paid off the bridge loan financing, and we were able to move on to permanent financing, and they're enjoying a great relationship with that bank today. So that's what we do.
I like it. These are some great success stories for sure.
Yeah.
And in the process, you had some good Venezuelan espressos.
And a great contact. Ignacio is a gem. He's a gem of a man, and we stay in touch today and have worked on other projects. So.
Great. Okay. Well, I actually have like maybe 2, 3 before we wrap up. I know you have to go in a bit, but do you remember you remember the first deal you closed as a mortgage broker?
Well, I cut my teeth, Louis, in the residential business.
Mm,
And I remember the first residential loan I ever closed, but the first commercial loan I closed
mhm.
was, believe it or not, within one of those companies, which
Okay.
became M1 Capital. It was sort of a
Mm,
series of transitions, and it was it was a center that IBM used
mhm,
here in the Westchester County. They were the tenant of the building,
mhm.
and it was the first ever commercial loan that we closed, again from M1 Capital's
Yeah.
former company, and that was a $13 million permanent mortgage for a IBM center here in local Westchester area. So I remember that one because obviously it was a pretty decent sized loan, and
Right.
and the tenant was noteworthy, but it would be a tough one to forget.
Right. And do you have this? Do you have one of like a I guess a very ideally thought that you weren't going to close, but you ended up closing somehow, like a
Uh,
tough, crazy deal, but you got it done?
just recently,
Mm,
just recently, we closed a loan in Connecticut. I won't
okay.
say where exactly, but we closed a loan in Connecticut. It was a light industrial loan for a few $1,000,000 on a building that was not anywhere near stabilized. It was bridge loan financing
Mhm,
that had an underlying environmental issue
mhm,
that could never be cured.
mhm.
It was an actual pool of oil that
Okay.
was under this building, but it
What?
was concentrated. It was centered under the building. The DEA um, had determined that it was no threat to any of the
Okay.
water tables in the area.
Mhm,
Um, the fire department of the local town still had it as being an issue, but it was going to take some litigation to solve it.
mhm,
We found a bridge loan lender that would actually lend on that so that he could finish the renovations to the building to stabilize it and bring in new tenants with the ongoing environmental issue in place, because of the loan to value. It was the loan to value was like 30%. So we got it done, and I didn't think it was going to get done, but we got it done.
mhm. I'm glad to hear you got it done.
Yep.
Awesome, Robert. So Robert, before we go, where can people find you, or how do you, where should they email you? Should they go to the
Yeah.
website, call you? Where do you want
Best way is info@mortgage1.com, Louis.
to?
It's info at the word mortgage, the numeral 1.com. Or you can go to mortgage one, the numeral 1.com, and find out a little bit more about what our company does. So our website is pretty robust.
Okay. And then we actually did have one final question. Um, what do you like most about CRE and what you do?
I mentioned before, Luis, I cut my teeth in the residential business.
Mhm,
I owned two pretty large residential brokerages here in New York. And in 2008, I sold the last one.
mhm,
Got out right before the financial crisis, actually. And I didn't know anything. I just was dumb luck. But
mhm,
I wound up exiting the company at that time.
mhm.
I stayed in the residential business for a few years after consulting. But one day I walked into Walmart with my
Okay.
young daughter at the time. She was 5.
Mm.
And on the wall, I saw, get your residential mortgage here. You could actually apply for a mortgage at Walmart.
Really?
And I looked up at that and I said, it's time for me to move on.
Mm.
Nothing against Walmart, great company. But when you commoditize
Yeah.
a financial service such as selecting a mortgage, so much so that you can buy it at a store like at Walmart, I got very
Mhm,
concerned about where the industry was going. Now,
mhm.
since then, obviously the audience has changed, right? With all
Right.
the new solutions that have come out to uh, attract millennials and people in that, in that age group who feel more comfortable going online getting a mortgage. But for me, where my services have always been more consultatory in nature and being an advisor, I just knew it was time. So what I love about this business in a very long-winded way that I just explained to you is this. I like being of counsel to people and advising them on their choices rather than just providing something that in some people's eyes is a commodity.
Love it, Robert. Appreciate you sharing that with me. And thank you for taking the time to present to us today. If viewers are watching this, listening to this, if you're interested in speaking with Robert, don't hesitate to contact him directly. If you are a mortgage broker or direct lender and want to be in one of these series, or have any questions, feel free to email me at luis@realatom.com. Or if you'd like to learn more about RealAtom and what we do and how we help mortgage brokers, direct lenders, feel free to reach out, look at the website, realatom.com. And see everyone on the next episode.